Chris Rock gon' be the reason we gon' blow. Boom.
Welcome back to another episode of the Wireheadz podcast. It's your boy Trizale.
And I am the SPG.
And this is another special interview we have for you guys today. Joining us is an amazing producer, and dare I say also an artist. We'll delve into that some more. The Wireheadz podcast would like to officially welcome Shaayz to the pod. Shaayz, welcome, man.
Yo.
It's so good to have you, my friend.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Now, before we got started, Shaayz was telling me that, this is not something that he typically does. He's not really that kind of cat, which I think is all the more reason we need to talk to you, because I know you got stories and things that you can share with us.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, for sure, man.
As I say, we have questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I'm here to answer them.
All right,
yeah.
excellent. It was an interesting introduction that I had because it was, we interviewed Nate, and I was telling him about how I got into listening to Nate. He had been mentioned to us, I believe, by Tef,
yes.
And I checked out this cat, and I saw him on a video somewhere, and that's when I recognized him as the older version of a younger person that I had knew from that music from back in the day.
Correct. Yeah.
So when we were doing the Nate Wells interview, I decided, let me go and check out what the RLG cats had done back then. And when I pulled up the YouTube video, and I was looking at the names of the persons that were there, Shaayz was there. So this man was back then.
So that's like way back.
That's a while. That's a little while, right? So I guess so that's how I got to introduced,
right?
And I started checking out some of your stuff on Spotify and so on.
Nice, man.
Yeah, for real.
I've been around, man.
Well, I think so. I guess for ourselves and for the listeners and the viewers out there, tell us a bit about how did you find yourself in this zone called music? Is it something that came through like your family? Is it something that was just a passion? Is it a recent passion of yours? Tell us how you got into it.
I actually got into music because it was just always around me from my family growing up. My dad had the craziest cassette and CD collection. My uncles.
Yes, he just said cassette.
He said cassette, yeah.
Literally, Walkman days. Like we get into it. But my uncles, about 4 of my uncles, they were DJs. So like I had to all the time growing up, like playing around with actual like decks and CDJs and stuff, and yeah, man, I just used to like go sneak out, take my dad's CDs, go listen to them, and like that's how I really started with music, like finding my love with music, and like it became a passion from there.
Yeah, so I mean, as a little kid, so it's always been something that you would say that you've been drawn to.
Yeah, definitely.
How did that turn into your journey right now in the hip hop, space? Like, how did we move into that?
Well, there's a whole backstory because before I was producing, even doing like vocals, anything, I was actually DJing first and foremost, because like I picked that up from my uncles, and I used to actually DJ at school and like go do little concerts, little fairs, stuff like that.
Oh wow!
So just from that, I had like a extensive like reach in music, just like learning about all these different artists, these different genres, like everything, So eventually over time, I just, my interest just peaked in music. Like I started to like dissect it, because when you're DJing, you're focusing on like BPM, speed, tempos and stuff. So like I just started thinking about, how did they get this rhythm? How did they get this groove? That piqued my interest in production. So I'm like, I wanna start making beats. But all
right, well let me say this to you. I think the best producers are producers that were DJs, because they have an ear. They have a sick ear for music, and they know what moves people.
I was just about to say that.
They know what
because
moves people.
you were DJing at live events, at parties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you can see the reaction of the crowd when you change things. You know about the types of sound, and rhythms, as we would say, right? I mean, I know I sound real layman there when I say songs and rhythms.
Rhythms.
But you know, you kind of know you get a feel for what's moving people and what persons are reacting to.
Yeah, definitely.
And that would have guided the you, as you said, this is what I want to do. I want to be able to get that done.
Get that done, right?
But I gotta ask you though, Shaayz, it's still a big leap though. I mean, there are a lot of DJs out there who are happy to be DJs for the rest of their life, right? And then there are those that are like, nah, there's more out there for me. So like when you start to dabble in
not DJs.
Who
do that?
Not DJs, do your thing. But I mean, like, you know, for me, I would think it would be a progression. You know, I play the music and then I want to make music, right? But for you, what was that leap? Because I mean, that must have been so overwhelming. Like when the first time I saw like Ableton, I was like, what? Fruity Loops or well, for me, I got Mac, so it'd be like GarageBand or something super basic like that, right? Like how did you be like, yeah, I can jump into that?
Well, that's the thing. Like, just growing up back in school too, I was more kind of like a computer kind of guy too, you know, a techie kind of guy. Like I was always like messing around with computers from young to like so. Software, just learning about software. Eventually, my first program that I was actually on was FL Studio. Right, this is like FL9 back in the day. And, yeah, man, like it just started from there. Then I also had, you know, from the whole RLG connection, my other homies that were there making music. So like some of them put me on. They're like, yo, you should check this program out. Blah. So I just started like experimenting with the software, and then I eventually like got into it. Like, you know, I'm like, yo, like this is a whole new universe to me. Like I gotta learn this. I gotta like get into this. You know, like yeah.
So I just want to ask one quick question on the heels of that. Did you know what type of music you wanted to make?
No.
Because as a DJ, you exposed to like literally everything.
So many things, and it was like I just wanted to experiment.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is interesting because your music has so different a feel to it. The stuff that I've listened to.
Right.
Like there's different stuff going on there.
There's a lot going on.
So when you were back in those RLG days, like were you doing production for any of the stuff that you all did then?
Well, not really, kinda, to be honest. I was more like I was more the ear for the group, because it was like at a certain point I was, you know, managing them and stuff, and I had access to the email where people would send beats and stuff, so I would kind of like pinpoint stuff and be like, yo guys, let's make a song on this, or like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like that was my form of production, so to say, but not actual hands-on. I actually used to mess around too and like hop on the mic and stuff back then, just like having fun, you know. But yeah, it was more like I was like just kind of listening for certain things, and like when we'd go to the studio, it'd be like, yo, the guys would ask me, Shay, how does this song? And I would like, you know, kind of, yo, maybe we should try sing it like this, or like give a little input with bars or anything.
That sounds like they have real trust in your ear.
Yeah. Well,
because well, you're giving me some real RZA vibes here, you know, like that. No, serious, you know, that guy that has this feeling like this is what the sound is.
Yeah.
This is how we should rap on it. These are the beats we would. Yeah. All right. Got you.
So I was kind of like integrated in the music that way, like just being behind the scenes, just being at the studio, giving my input, you know. Yeah.
So we talked about the RLG connection, but at that point you said you didn't produce or create anything.
No.
So when did your creative process actually begin? I mean creative meaning that you created something and you put it out into the world for consumption.
I would say technically I would say maybe like 2012, because this is instead of actual production at that point, I was doing mixes.
Oh, you were mixing?
Yeah, I was doing actual mixes, and I would record them and then like, you know, like just edit them and like put all my different sound effects and that kind of stuff on them. So I would say my interest grew in putting out actual content like music like that around then. But then about a year and a half later, like 2013, 2014 was when I actually started like fully being like, yo, I'm producing, I'm gonna put together beats. So it was actually a 2-track project. It was called 5-A-Side. And yeah, it was really like a beat tape that featured some vocals in between here and there. But
I like that. That's a cool name, 5-A-Side.
5-A-Side, yeah. So basically, like the concept of it was it was basically like a digital cassette. So like you have 5 tracks, and then on side A, and then you have side B with another 5 tracks. So
you did that before Drake. So Drake might not for you.
Our levels are good, right?
Who knows?
Our levels are fantastic.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
You want royalty, Shaayz.
Who knows? But yeah, I did that. That was 2014 or 15, probably 2014, I believe.
So
Like
how you actually put that out into the world? How did
I
you?
literally just SoundCloud, because this is like during that time is like SoundCloud was popping.
Was
you
it?
know?
Yeah.
SoundCloud was really like the place to be. So yeah, that was like really one of my first like official projects, I would say, like had put out and like, you know, promoted and like, kind of give it a push. 5-A-Side.
What was the response? People were messing with you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was because, you know, I was before that I was doing production, like just putting out. People would hear like even old tracks I did with Nate around that time. People would just hear like production on songs that artists put out.
Right.
So like they would know like, okay, Shaay makes beats, whatever. But no, this was like my first, you know, release. And they're like, yo, like it's cool to actually hear just beats, like just your production, just the beats alone. And that was majority of the feedback I got.
And do you find that after you put that out, because I know we touched on this off air, do you find that when you put that out, you had immediate interest from like other artists? How does it work? I mean, do all the artists in Barbados, guys got a group chat? How does that work?
Nah, well, I mean, I've been added to group chats that, you know, having artists and producers and stuff like that. But it's usually like, you know, people would just message you online, or if they see you out or about, you know, or if they have a friend that they know would know you or something, their friend would shout you and be like, yo, like my boy makes music, he want to do something with you, blah blah blah. So yeah, that's how it kind of like would happen like afterward, with how
kind of an organic kind of
more organic kind of, you know, like approach to working with other artists. Like yeah, they would just reach out, or you know.
So at this stage, is everything just like pro bono for the love of getting the music out there, or are you like charging for your beats?
Yeah, no, at that point in time, it was really just for the love of it, just for the culture, just wanted to work, just wanted to get better too. At that time in my life, I was like on a quest to just like find like my sound, so to say, because like I always knew I didn't want to be like one of those type beat producers, like, you know, I didn't want to be like somebody that
You don't want me pinned down.
yeah, like I didn't want to be put in like a box, so to say. So I was just like on a quest to like, you know, just better my craft, learn as much as I can. Like, well, you always learning, so it's like just continue to like take in knowledge and just experiment, try to like find out what I really liked, what I really didn't like, you know.
Tons of experimentation. So like for you, your process is, do you start with the concept first? Like, okay, so I don't know, do you play piano, or you start with keys, you start with drums, or how? I mean,
honestly,
producer talk.
Yeah, producer talk. I feel like there's a question people get asked a lot. For me, it's really just whatever I'm feeling in the moment, like at the time. You know what I mean? Like there are times I go sit down and I'm like, I want to hear something on a particular groove, so I would just start messing around, pulling together songs, making the drums, being like, all right, now I got this groove, let me kind of find some keys or some strings to go with it, or maybe a sample or whatever is the case. So other times it would be like I would have like a melody in my mind, and I would be like, okay, like let me put this down, record it, looping it, adding on to it, maybe add some drums or maybe add some vocals before drums. Like, I really have no fixed like way or method of creating. It's just
correct.
However it feels
at the time.
At the time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know that you talked about how DJing led you into that. It was a very interesting transition about having a feel for what the people wanted to hear and the energy in the party at particular moments, and then want to be a creator of that as opposed to simply a player of it. Creation, which is an awesome transition in terms of mentally where you were going, and then how the actual tangible thing come out. So my question is, I understand you were DJing, but what were if you would say that you were searching for your sound, what were your initial inspirations for sound? Like, are there particular genres of music and then artists within those genres that you would say were your biggest early influences?
I feel like at the time, because that's the thing with my journey in music, I've been going through different phases over the time, but at that point in time, my earlier, career of producing and stuff, it was like at that time, I was more just influenced by what was around me. 2014, 2015 time, I was living in Canada, actually. Montreal. It's funny because I see you have one in Montreal. Yeah. But I was living in Montreal, and that's a very diverse city, and I was just surrounded by so much like different cultures and different vibes. Like, you just go out on the street and just see a random concert happening. So it was like, just the energy that I was around back then led me to, okay, I remember going out and hearing this artist, and then I would go check out that artist, and then from listening to that artist, I see a featured artist or someone in the similar genre, so then I go check them out, and then before you know it, I'm kind of just like delved into this genre, or so that's how it was. It wasn't exactly particular, but it was more like whatever just caught my ear at the time, I would just go check it out and go see what I liked.
That's interesting that it was not so much a genre of music or a particular artist, but like an entire cultural mix, like a melting pot of different sounds and experiences that led to where you were going with it.
Yeah.
So would you say that or are we gonna fast forward a bit? So that was the project you did then. Did you drop something? How did the space? What happened between 2014 and 1001 Lullabies, which is what we want to move to now?
2019.
Jeez, I'm looking at my face, man.
Because so many people ask me this question, so I was kind of expecting that. But man, the transition between then was mainly I had like a very life-changing experience. 2016, early 2016, I got into a car accident and got injured really badly. Like, I was just a passenger. I wasn't driving. I was just a passenger. But I got injured really badly. Had to get surgery, stuff like that. Oh, wow. So that kind of threw me off my pivot, because it was I had so many plans and different things in mind to do. And this thing just happened, and literally just, life just humbles you, so I had to go through that whole process. And as I said, it was kind of life changing for me, even just in general, starting to actually have those life lessons of losing friends and seeing who there for you, who ain't there for you, them kind of things. So it was just a whole it was literally a new chapter after that happened for me. I felt like I had reached a point, and I was like, okay, I gotta focus up here now. For me, around that time was what really pushed me to start doing vocals, because then I felt like I had so much to say. And so that happened, and my whole perspective and everything about life had just changed at that point, and I just had this kind of fire in me, I just had this burning passion, I gotta go harder. Like I gotta like just make this music. Yeah, so that's what happened in between that space. And during that time period, after I was like recovering from that situation and everything, like all of these songs just started to like come together one by one, and then we had the release of 1001 after.
If you don't mind me asking, because it might be personal, why that title? Why 1001 Lullabies?
Nah, that's actually funny because I have a really good homie that I would just send him like demos and like beats when I made them, like he himself, he's a creative, so we kind of have like that kind of relationship as brethren, like we just share our works together. So I would send him stuff, and he was like, this one particular time he was like, yo, big man, this is so crazy, this sound like a real crazy lullaby. And I was like, dog, well, like I got 1,000 of these. Like literally, I was just like, I got 1,000 of these. Like, and that was just in actual casual convo,
Shit.
And then
eventually,
like as I started to put the project together, like the name just clicked to me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Boom.
Yeah.
I noticed that like you had some artists, Island Levy,
Yeah.
Queen, Sonnet Wells,
Yeah.
some artists that you had on 1001. I think you rapped on a track on 1001 as well.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm glad you noticed that.
So I know you said that you used to jump on the mic for fun.
Yeah.
Did you decide, this beat here, so it's mic though?
Yeah, that's how it felt in the moment. Cause that track that I was on, I made the beat amidst everything else. Like so, at the time I was just like finding the cohesion with the tracks, and then as I was like listening through, I'm like, like I can put vocals on this. So I just hopped on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And for your next release, which is Nobody Safe, you did
But
more.
there was something in between.
You did even more than that.
You had a short, like a EP like thing that was about 8 tracks or so after 1001.
Last Chances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last Chances is pretty slapped on, but that was actually in between.
Oh, that was in between?
Yeah. It was short. It was like 15, 16 minutes long.
Yeah, pretty short. Yeah, like 8 tracks, I think it was. Last Chances, that was 2020. I put that out in 2020. What happened was that actually just came about randomly. I didn't exactly plan to put that out, but COVID happened.
COVID did happen.
And
it happened.
COVID happened. So then it was pandemic vibes, you're just home thing, and I was like, put out something.
Yeah.
So I had just like put together these tracks that some I previously had just like sitting on my hard drive, like, and others it was like, okay, let me send this to this buddy, let me do something on this, and I just put that together. I think I put that together in like 2-3 weeks. I was just I'm gonna put this up.
Yeah.
You man just be playing out like work into the world, like it's crazy.
So if you don't mind, I when we now move on to
Nobody Safe.
Right. Okay.
So I noted that a lot of the earlier tracks on the project are just you.
Right.
So it seemed like a shift.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
From just the production to you having something to say, speaking, and those tracks have a particular feel and sound to them.
Correct.
So talk to us about what made that change. Why you decided, like I'm going to speak now.
Just life. That's the best way I could put it. Like it's in it was really just life. Like that project was just like an embodiment of like as I keep saying, like go through these different phases, so like that was just like a period of time in my life that I had, real life shit going on, and I was like, all right, I gotta just say something,
Yeah.
As you guys could tell, I'm a pretty reserved kind of guy, so it's like at that point in time in my life too, it was like, okay, it's time for me to come up, step forward, and that's how that really came about. So also too, which now I guess would be a bombshell in the space after, well, during me doing Last Chances, the project before Nobody's Safe, I actually have recorded a whole album. I've been working on an album that I hope to release sometime this summer.
What?
Yeah, so like I literally have a whole album there, and on that I was really doing vocals too. So the transition really happened in between there of me working on that other album,
Right.
and then Nobody's Safe, you know, just like residual stuff that came after that, like, you know. And then I was like, yeah, okay, so now let me separate these tracks and put this here, and then I have the album here. And
So Nobody's Safe is like, that's like your calling card to these other rappers that you hear.
Yeah, pretty much, because you know people.
That's dope, bro.
You know, people that know me from back in the day, like how you would have mentioned ROG and stuff. People that know the history would know that I've always been like doing music. So I feel like they've probably been like a certain perception. People just put me in this producer box.
Yes.
But like I wanted now to like show people like, no, I'm actually like expressing more. I'm an artist. Like I'm an actual artist.
Listen,
no?
Correct.
Producer. I mean, look at J. Cole. Producer artist is like the craziest.
Hey, I mean,
Like them is the deadly ones.
well, except Eminem. I mean, come on, I can't put some controversy in the pod.
Yeah, of course you can.
No, I mean, I think that M has produced a lot of the stuff, the work that he raps on. Has he not?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm not an M fan.
You're not an M fan.
No.
Right. Well, I was an M fan. But where am I going with this? I'm just saying that he's a producer rapper that I'm like, come on, dude. Like, I'm really not feeling that sound that you got going on there. But yes, like J. Cole is amazing. Yeah, so we understand. We understand.
For sure.
Understood.
I do have a question about Nobody's Safe though. I mean, hearing you on the record it feels like your vocals can be very chilling. Especially when you start the intro, which is a spliff in a dream.
Right.
And I want to know, now that I have you here on the pod, what's the dream?
Fair.
You're telling me, you got a spliff in a dream.
Yeah.
So I want to know the dream.
Really, the dream for me was just making it out of Barbados at the time.
Fair enough.
So it's like, there was a period in time, you know, I was in BIM, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, like BIM nice, BIM is sweet life, you know, island life, you know
Island
what I mean?
life,
Barbados sweet, but like I feel like I'm kind of stifled here, right?
Yeah.
So like I really just wanted to like get out of Barbados and just explore more of the world, just like get out there and things. So it was like, I had a spliff in a dream, you know, like just trying to get out there.
That's dope. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's like my question would be, does it get tiring? I think we spoke to Nate about this a bit when we looked at how do you deal with knowing that you're in a space where there isn't widespread appreciation for it. I mean, I know we off air we were talking about how hip hop is not that niche in Barbados anymore. It's become a lot more mainstream, but it still competes with the other popular forms of music that are more indigenous to the Afro-Caribbean experience, soca, dance, all that kind of thing.
Right.
So but when you decide I'm going in a particular path, and it's not that I haven't, there are dancehall artists on the project. I can't remember the cat's name right now, but I did hear one or two guys,
right.
So we understand that. We understand that there are fusions and there are cross fertilization and that type of music and stuff. But one of the things that we asked Nate was, how do you grapple with, is there a feeling, or is there a time when you feel like, wow, I wish that there was a broader space for me to flex, my artistry in,
or be recognized.
Because when you talked about moving out and not wanting to be
I
held
feel like
back,
maybe
curtailed.
like back in the day, it would have been like something that I would think about and be like, damn, like, you know. But yeah, more so recently, I kind of feel like I'm just indifferent to that, because I just believe now that like, yo, like whatever is meant to be will be, basically. Right, and I'm not in it just trying to do it for like the flats or anything like that. I genuinely just like making music. So for me, it's like, yeah, regardless of if 300,000 people see this or not, or 2 people hear this or not, I'm making this and I'm putting it out because this is a part of my craft and this is something that I want to share. So yeah, we're just like, yeah, that's honestly my, you know, attitude, I guess, toward that kind of stuff.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah.
That's really powerful because
sorry, not to think,
go ahead.
But for me, it's like you can't really study it too hard, because, as I said before, you know, it's Barbados. And what you can do, you can just sit down and study it and kind of just, you know, I guess have a fear or be stifled by it, or you can just create and just try to push outside of that. Yeah. So that's how I kind of like, you know, thought about it in my head, and I was like, yeah, like it's whatever. Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Let me move. You were gonna.
My follow-up question was just that if you. Because you answered and said that, you know, you just gotta get on with it, right? So for you, where are your sights set? And I think we would have asked Nate a similar question to this. If we all agree that, you know, we're not expecting that we get that recognition here locally, then what drives you? What compels you to keep being motivated to keep putting it out? Because at the end of the day, I mean, I can speak for myself with this pod. What motivates us is artists such as yourself and the audiences that actually really care about the music. So lesser so the metrics and the views, but more the people that we're touching.
Right.
Right. So I just wanted to know from your perspective, what then would be your end goal? Is it that you want to be like have like a crazy underground career like MF Doom, or like what you know, what is success really looking like for you?
In that regard, I feel like for me, a musical success would have been leaving a legacy behind, right? Like knowing that I've inspired people, knowing that I've, you know, helped cultivate different genres, different trends, different styles, knowing that I've helped contribute to artists' careers and their successes, like just leaving that legacy behind.
You're a really giving guy.
Yeah.
No, seriously, because a lot of people aren't that selfless. People are like, you know, well, what's in it for me? You know?
That's fair. I want to ask, are there 2 questions, kind of 2 sides of the coin. Is there an artist that you have not yet worked with that you want to drop vocals on your music?
Locally, you mean, or
both locally and internationally?
Locally,
I mean, you work with quite a few.
Yeah.
I don't really think so, to be honest, because I feel like a lot of the artists that I've wanted to work with too, like even though there isn't public work out yet, like there's stuff in the vault, so like we've already worked and we have songs together, and it's like,
okay,
you know, I'm content with whether they put out this like songs or not. Yeah, it's like we've worked, you know, like we've had that connection, we've vibed, you know, we got a track. Like,
that's awesome. Yeah.
So locally, there isn't really anyone that's coming to mind, honestly, that is like, you know, like I wanna actually maybe Amanda Reefer.
Yeah, you like to work with Amanda?
Yeah, I would like to work with Amanda Reefer. I feel like Amanda Reefer has like a really unique sound, vocal wise, and I think that I would be able to craft something for her, utilizing her vocals that would push her in a whole other like.
So that's what I was.
sphere.
That's what I was gonna say.
Not
If you
just
were,
like my creative side, like would love to do that.
if you
Yeah,
work
yeah.
with Amanda, like let it be like something that we've not heard or that we're
Yeah.
not gonna expect.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
step way outside the box.
Exactly.
You know
Like,
what I mean?
that's what I would think
Yeah,
about.
that's dope.
Yeah, just sonically, I feel like her vocals with what I would bring would create like a whole new like vibe that people wouldn't expect.
That's cool.
But like yeah,
That's
and
awesome. stuff.
maybe only Amanda Reefer locally. Globally, there's a lot of different artists because I be tapping into like a lot of different scenes and like genres and stuff. So there are honestly quite a few, but more so underground.
Right.
Yeah, I'm more so leaning toward wanting to work with like underground artists, like yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Any reason why underground as opposed to mainstream?
I mean, I would work with mainstream too if that happens, if that opportunity was to raise, like yeah, for sure. But underground because more so for culture, I feel like if you really check the underground of any scene, like literally any scene in any genre, the underground always has the richness, you know what I mean?
Of
The
course.
real is really the real core.
Yeah,
to
the
what you
machine ain't get involved yet, so of course
Yeah.
that'll be the best. That'll be the purest form of it,
for
right?
me, right? For
No
me, I
delusion.
like to go.
That's what you
I like to
want.
go to the source. I want
It's
to
like,
tap into.
it's like when people come to Barbados, they're like, yeah, I know, carry me in Boxers Road. That's what the tourists want. We get Boxers
Direct,
Road.
yeah, you know what I mean?
know? Correct. We get
Yeah.
oysters. We want authentic. No, you're right. I feel you on that
We
one.
want gut St. Joseph and roasted breadfruit.
We want
Correct.
roasted
Correct.
breadfruit.
You know what I
That's
mean?
what we
Like,
want. You know?
Yeah.
I feel you, bro.
So like there are too many underground artists that like I've been kind of peeping and stuff, but yeah, yeah. No.
You should recommend. I mean, you don't have to do it on pod, but you should recommend
I
something.
could
else,
recommend. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
We always looking for something new.
Yeah, for sure.
To
something new to
listen
listen
to.
Yeah.
For sure.
I was so. I mean, what's next for Shaayz? I mean, I know you said that you were looking at putting out a project in the summer,
Right. mhm.
so that's where the focus is now.
Yeah, that's where the focus has been for the last couple months. Yeah, I would say Nobody's Safe was actually just to like, all right, yeah, let's just get the ball rolling in 2023. New year. Let me just put this out. But before that, majority of the focus has really been on this album that I want to put out this year.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
what are you trying to say? Nobody Safe was a throwaway, and the main album is what's coming out in summer.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
Man,
How much
yeah.
music? How much music, dude? Like you just be steady be making music.
Yeah, I literally make music every single day. If there's a day that I don't make music, is because I'm tired or I just like want to rest, or you know what I mean. But like making music has been so like integrated in my day-to-day processes. Like if I'm not making a beat, I working on a mix. Like I listening to something, like pulling together something. Like you know what I mean. Like I'm always just working on music. Like
It's a
so,
part of your fabric, man.
Yeah. So
She's machine, man. That's when I start calling you, bro. Man. Music
man.
making machine.
But I want to give a shout out too to like a couple of my close bros that I work with as well.
Yeah, man.
That's really like Pastor Herbs, Nine, Chris Rose, Simon Paris. These guys really talented producers, and they themselves like they've been putting their work too, and they've been contributing to like the local culture here and stuff too. So like just working with them, collabing with them, like that keeps me going too, and like we all kind of just been working, just doing our things.
Is there any competition amongst local producers in the space? You guys work well together?
Yeah, like it's not. Well, that's the thing. I've had experiences that like with other people, you know. What I mean? So it's like these people that I work, is who I cool and content working with, because they're just genuinely cool people that love making music too. So yeah. But yeah, amongst us, I wouldn't think there's any competition. Like we're all just trying to like get better and just like tap into different scenes, and like
It's interesting that you say that, because just recently I was thinking about like why we've never done a collab with another podcast, because you would think that, you know, we exist in the same space, so maybe let's come together and, you know, connect and do something. But to your point, I do think that there's a lot of competition, and we kind of think that the space can only be big enough for one or few players, when really and truly we come together, you know, I leverage my following, you leverage your following, we all be great, right?
Yeah.
But people don't think like that, and it's unfortunate.
Pretty much.
It's unfortunate. So yeah, shout out to those guys, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
Yeah.
So, Shaayz, this has been. I think we're gonna wrap now. Yeah. It's been really good having you on. As we continue to explore what this local scene has got to offer, you gotta go and listen to Shaayz's work. His most recent release is Nobody's Safe. Just released about a month ago. About that.
About a month ago.
Shout out to the person that did the artwork. Artwork is sick.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, man. That's Tavin Carter. He's also a local guy here. Really talented.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
So that's, Spotify for me.
Apple Music
for you. So wherever you listen, you should be able to get that. Definitely give that a listen. And we looking forward to hearing that stuff this summer, man.
Yeah, man. I got a few other surprises though, to be honest. Like 2023 is really the year that I'm just gonna like put out work, you know. So I got a beat tape as well that I wanna put out down the line, which is just gonna be pure instrumentation. And another mixtape. So yeah.
So there's stuff to come.
Yeah, there's stuff to come.
All right, sweet. This has been Stack Pockets Glaze.
That's right.
I'm using my original name today, right? Here with Trizale, and we've been interviewing our boy Shaayz.
Yo.
Boom.
For the Wireheadz podcast. Make sure that you tune in with us next time. We out.
Peace.